Yeah.
And I told them, what does it mean support? Support means when people call in, I don't want, if you are not sure, you don't answer, you can ask me later. You cannot say, maybe, or could be, I guess. You know what? I told them I don't allow those reply for my tech.
Mm-hmm.
You get to tell the customer exactly. If you know it, you tell them. If you don't know it, don't tell them. Just tell them I will get back to you. I will consult, Mark or something, to get you the answer.
Right.
Because think about it. A lot of user, they are rookie, or they may be just for home use, they don't care. But what about for the business?
Mm-hmm.
It sometimes could be life and death because in mass production. So I know one company, they have 3 shifts in a day.
Yeah.
You cannot give them wrong answer because it could be the nightmare to them. So right. I told them, if you are not sure, you got to tell them you are not sure. I will get back to them.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex over at Laser Everything, and welcome to the Laser Source Podcast, the #1 podcast if you're looking to grow or scale your laser business. And we have an awesome guest with us today, the owner and CEO of LightObject in Sacramento, California, Marco. Thank you.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us on the podcast today, Marco. I found LightObject a good bit ago, actually, when I was looking for laser tubes, which I think is something you guys sell a lot of laser tubes, right?
Yes, we do.
But you also sell machines, which I didn't really know. You guys have like a whole line of machines until I came to visit you and I got to see all of your equipment, and the machines are really cool.
You believe or not, most CO2 laser machine, I design the casing. It's not just like a box you get it from Amazon or eBay, not those kind of machine.
Right.
Because as a seller and also I'm using the laser machine, I try to understand what my customer need. That's why after selling those CAD style laser machine, I decided to design my own laser machine and then let my manufacturer to fabricate for us. So it has been changed so many times already. Just
because you're a user and a seller, right?
Yes.
So you have insights that maybe just people who only sell, they don't understand, right?
Right, because if you never use a laser machine, then you never know what the user wants to be. Just like when I work for what's that laser CAD company? I forgot the name even sudden, it made me nervous. Chosen, Chosen to make the controller card, right?
Yep.
I've been working for them for more than, I would say, 12 years. I helped them to target the U.S. market from 6 to 08,
Yeah.
And I learned it because he is the programmer, but it seems to me that they don't understand what a customer need based on the functionality or from the user interface. So I'm trying to make myself as a user, then I'm trying to use the machine, use the controller card, and then give them some kind of feedback and ask them to make a change, because this is the only way that you can sell the machine, right?
Yeah. And one of the cool things about LightObject in general, we see a lot of laser companies here. We see many different kinds of lasers. One of the things that I really like about LightObject's machines is that you guys seem to be completely agnostic to company brands, right? So if you want SPT, you can have an SPT. If you want a Resi, you can have a Resi. If you want a Ruida or a Trosen, you can have that, right? And then you guys make own stuff too. So you have your own in-house light burn controllers. I think it's the X7. Is that right?
Yes.
And so you have your own chillers. You guys seem to be like, you really get to put these machines together however you want them configured, and you guys will meet those needs, which I think is really cool. Not a lot of people will do that.
Yeah, because as I said, if we just buy and sell the machine or the water chiller, then it will be much easier. However, I just found out that it won't be the good solution for a customer, because when they decide something, because it's a mass production, right? So they only try to please a customer as a whole. But what if there's some sort of feature or some kind of gadget they want to get? How could you do it? You can't, because majority, there's two major controller cards, and you're chosen or Raider, right? Because I know all of those companies, they're all my friends, and both of them, they got their advantage and disadvantage. So I'm trying to make my machine more flexible. You tell me if you don't like chosen, all right, then I can switch you to a Raider, or I have PH controller card before, the company who make the card for us exclusively.
Right.
However, after certain sales going on, then Lightburn pop up. That card doesn't support Lightburn, or Lightburn doesn't support the card. Then suddenly, we couldn't sell those cards. That's one of the. So I'm trying to cut.
The new X7s do support Lightburn, right?
Yeah, the X7 actually kind of not the latest one. Now I decided not to go for my own brand because it gives a more difficulty for us and for the manufacturer, because they have to keep updating two different software. I mean, before the Lightburn, they have to write a program for me, and they have to write a program for the public in general.
Right.
And it gives them, sometimes I find out that it's a little bit difficult or for them to follow up my order. I said, hey, just like a Corel Draw, right? Most of the software, they support Corel Draw from 4.0, 5.06, now up to, I think, 2.022 already. Every time when you change the Corel Draw, then you have to get the macro ready.
Right.
And I kind of figure out that they're kind of a little bit lagging or behind my demand, because I told them I am their frontier. I mean, I am the fighting soldier for them. Right. So
you're on the ground, right?
I'm on the ground, I
exactly.
know what the customer wants to, but so every time when I say, hey, can you do something, it gives them a large pressure. Yeah. And so make my dad, later on, I figured out that they couldn't follow up. And also Lightburn, later on, the Lightburn come to the market, and they have a difficulty to make it fully compatible with the X7, because X7, they come with some kind of coding. It may not be the same as the regular model. So right. After that, then I talked to the manufacturer. Okay, let's just drop it. Let's go for now. It's a 7824, a 7813. So I just go for their own brand now.
Got it. Okay, yeah. That makes total sense. So you were saying earlier, you're friends with all of these different people that work at all these big laser companies.
Yes.
The people.
I know all those.
Are you first generation in America here? Did you come over? Like, were you born in China or were you born here?
I born in China. Then when I was 7 years old, I moved to Hong Kong. Wow. Get my high school diploma. Then I came to US to do an engineering study.
Okay.
Back to 1988, something like that.
And then you said you worked for Trosen for a long time.
No, I don't work for them direct. Actually, I help them to target the market, and I do a lot of testing. For example,
so maybe a consultant. You consulted.
Yeah, I think I'm the first one to convert a K40 with a DSP control card and post the information on cnczone.com. They do a lot of things. And during that time, most people, they know about the Mark III software. It's all vector format, right? But there's no such a machine can do a raster engraving. So actually, I used the Mark III software to configure, to turn a K40 into a vector cutting machine. And then later on, most people, they are struggling to do engraving. And then they ask, hey, if there's some sort of program or something can allow a laser machine to do better engraving. So that's why I pick up Trosen. Before Trosen have a 608, they actually come up different controller card. It's before the Trosen 608. And then I got those cards, and then I spent quite a lot of time to make the first K40 with the DSP controller card, and then launch it on the market. And after that, then I introduced the Trosen controller card to the US customer. And
Lem was telling me you guys have been in business for about 15 years. So you started in like 2007?
Yeah, I started like earlier 2006. Actually.
Yeah. So that was like right before the big recession. How did you? Yes. So that was a scary time to start a business. Why did you start LightObject? Like, what were you doing right before? And then when did that stop? And you were like, okay, time for LightObject to come.
Okay. Here's actually a long story. I work for this California State as an engineer, electrical engineer.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like a little bit bored to do things in the state because the most design, most hardware thing they contract out. But I like to design things like a PCB or basic circuit design or all those things. So then I start to do my own thing, and I start as I'm doing like a selling LED on eBay. In my garage.
Yeah.
So after 7 o'clock, after 7:30, after dinner, then I start to go to my garage, pack and pay, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And selling so many LCD for, I think, how long? For almost a year and a half. By that time,
so
you won't believe it.
Just LCD displays, nothing else.
LED, the light bulb.
LED. Oh, okay, okay.
At that time, $1.35 for one LED.
Wow.
But I have to go back to China to do the shopping, you know.
Right.
And beside LED, then after selling LED, then I start to pick up different electronic gadgets thing because my background is electrical engineering. So I'm kind of like know what people are looking for. So I kind of like pick up an LCD display, temperature controller card, you know, solder iron, all those kind of stuff. And then
you started getting into new different things. You were like bringing in new parts and new components. Yeah.
Yeah, and then until 2008, then a friend of mine, they showed me a laser power supply. When I look at it, wow, that was a good order. You know, then I, of course, do eBay search, and there's a zero. Nobody is selling those.
Right.
And then same thing to the CO2 laser tube. You won't believe it. I travel around China trying to find the manufacturer of CO2 laser tube. And then I come up with my own laser tube at that time. And then I come up with my own laser power supply. And I post it on eBay, and there's no competitor at all during that time.
Right, because you just couldn't buy that as a consumer in the United States at the time. You had to be like a big industrial or commercial entity, and you had to have your contacts in China already, and then they were importing. But if I just went on eBay and I went to go look and I wanted to buy something like that, I couldn't just get one. You needed to know somebody already.
Exactly, because you know, in China, even for me, it's really hard to find the source for the product that I'm interested. So I've traveled so much time. I have to get back to China twice a year, and I have to spend.
And that's saying something because you know all the people. You know the people, and you still have trouble finding components sometimes when you're looking for things. Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah. So when was that LightObject at the time, or did you have a different name?
Before, we don't have any name because I have a three partner, but then later on we dissolved because of different opinion, different direction. Then until 2008, I take everything in my own, under my control.
So
then,
that's when things really consolidated, was 2008, and you brought it all in. Yeah.
Right. And because the reason I start LightObject, because during that time, eBay is kind of like monopoly. They decided your fate. They can shut you down or they can let you go. I said, wait a minute, this is not the way to do business. You know, I got some backup for myself. So that's why I start LightObject, because I was doing a lot of lighting thing like LED, laser tube. It must be lights related, right? That's why I come up. Let me search LightObject.com, see if the domain available.
And you had it.
Oh, yeah, I can't believe I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I got Laser Everything. I was like, yeah, it's a good one. So, cool. So that's kind of the origin of LightObject. So when did LightObject start building actual machines? When did you guys start actually making like complete laser units?
Okay, this is something. After we sell so many laser tube, controller card, and a basic entry, then some people come to our shop. They said, hey, I don't have time to build the laser machine my own. Do you have some turnkey machine? I said, during that time, I said, no, I don't sell parts. So it kind of like changing my the direction a little bit. You know, why not carry the laser machine also, just for different customer? So that's why I start to hunt for a good laser machine. And I went to Jinan, Shandong Province. My first two machines, I bought it from those.
Right.
And I don't know if I should say something here, but
we can just, you know, meh.
It wasn't what you were looking
It
for.
wasn't what you were looking for, right?
No, price is really low, but you get what you pay for. Remember, though.
We say that on the show a lot. You can get a nice new premium laser. It's ready to go. You open the box, you turn it on, you use it, or you can spend a little bit of money, but you're going to put that sweat equity in. You know, you gotta put the elbow grease in. It needs some TLC. You got to give it some love and, you know, make it better in order to get it to work nice.
Yeah, I guess sometimes, you know, I guess I didn't born in the US, right? So the culture-wise, a little different than Hong Kong or from China. Over here, when you talk about some other company, you better not to talk about
at all. Right? If you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything, right?
Yeah, otherwise people get wrong of you. They say, "Oh, you want to promote your machine, or you want to promote your product." That's why you talk bad about them. But sometimes,
what we usually say is, you know, we got a machine from a company, but we don't say the name. And then we can say we didn't like it, you know. And
okay.
But yeah, I mean, so it wasn't up to your standards, right? We wanted something better, and so that's when you started designing your own machines. You started,
not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, because I was still a rookie during that time, back to 10, 12 years ago. I still was a rookie. I didn't even know how to calibrate the I mean, the stepping on a gantry. I didn't even know how to connect the curve meter. Nothing, I'm telling you, even though I was electrical engineer. But it was totally brand new to me. So that means I have to take the machine from certain manufacturers. So I found one shop. The reason I pick up them because I saw what they're doing. I know they put their heart on the machine when they build the machine, and then I import those. Oh, unbelievable! It's so smooth, so accurate, so precise. Even though today I'm still using them as my machine provider.
Right.
And it's easy for me to communicate with them. If I want to make some change, they are willing to do it for me. That's the main thing.
Right. And I tell this to a lot of people. You can back this up because you know the people and you know the factories.
Yes.
What I tell people is that even if all the machines look the same, right? They all look like they came from the same factory. The people that are building them are different, and it matters who you pick. Right?
Exactly.
Even though they all look the same on the outside, the people that are building the machines, if they care or if they don't care, it's not the same quality machine. They're very different depending on where it's coming from.
Exactly. Like, for example, the major difference about the couple of things people need to look at those. First of all, how the casing, the chassis. For the chip machine, they're using very thin metal. So just one little punch, you will get dent on the machine. And then the level of the gantry, after a certain time, it warp. And then the honeycomb, I guess I fixed so many of those, they go down like this after a certain time.
They like little sink pit, yeah.
Yeah. And some people complain, hey, I spent the whole day long, I still cannot get the dead center of the alignment. Why? Well, because the gauge is not straight, not angled, not 90 degrees.
It was the manufacturing was different.
Yeah, that is making it.
Yeah.
And also, you know, because you can say the laser industry is huge in China, but I'm telling the truth, technically speaking, they know each other. This company, or they all know each other.
Yeah, I've kind of been learning that too, as we've been, meeting people and talking to people. They're like, oh, you know Mactron? We're friends with GZ Tech, or like, I know somebody over at JCZ, and it's like everybody knows each other. They're all connected. It's been cool. It's been cool.
But I'm so glad that I know a couple major manufacturers, like, for example, Chosen, the controller card, DSP controller card, Raider. Of course, you guys know the Raider. We call Raider, but you go Raider. I know those programmers. I know the boss, and every time when I go to China, they have to bring me to dinner or something.
Nice.
And Puhan controller card, and then the others, like I forgot the name because I don't use it no more. But so when my customer say one time, they said, hey, can you do something to the controller card? Then I got the privilege. I can actually direct talk to them and say, hey, buddy, can you do something? I need something. For example, I don't know if you guys noticed or not. Before, all those controller cards the fourth axle is left for nothing. It's for material feeding.
Right.
And it was me to persuade all these three companies to convert the fourth axis to the rotary.
Okay.
Because I found out that rotary is more important than material feeder. How often you see people has a laser machine with feeding?
Never.
Technically speaking, none.
Never. Yeah.
Never. Yeah. But then you have the fourth axis ready. Why waste it? Especially people here, they like to engrave the bottle. They want to engrave a baseball bat, or something. But the old way, how they do it, is to disconnect the wire. And then changing the changing the parameter. After you done the job, then you disconnect and bring it back to the old profile. I said, why do you want to do it? Why not just take advantage of the four axis, right?
Yeah.
So it took about a year for Chosen to implement the fourth axis. And then after I helped this company, then the other company, the boss say, hey, Marco, you're not nice to me. Give me some idea. What do you want to do? I want to, all right.
Everybody wants some input from Marco.
Yeah. Like, for example, Radar 6442, they are not ready. They are using the Y-axis for the rotary.
Yeah. Until
the recent 634. I forgot the model. The latest one with a bigger LCD. That's the way they implement the fourth axis.
Got it. So only on the newest one. They're lagging a little bit behind, but they did it now.
Yeah, they did it. They did.
That's good. And so you were bringing in, back to the story, because I really like the story. I want to hear more. So you were bringing in these machines, and those ones a long time ago when you were still a rookie, you were just bringing them in, inspecting, and then reselling them kind of as they came in. So how long ago did you start like designing the machines? Because I know that you're very proud of your designs. So when did you say, okay, that's it, I need to have more control, about how these machines are going to, look and function, and you started designing?
Around 6-7 years ago. Because after I look at my machine and then look at the other seller, the machine from the other seller, they kind of like, hey, I don't feel any special on the machine at all. So I decided to design my own, and the casing. There's a couple of things I added to my own design. For example, I take advantage from the air control, because in general, people are using the air pump, right?
Right.
But then they do have output for a signal to control. I mean, once the gadget start to move, there's a signal. I said, why don't we take advantage from that? Turn on the solenoid, turn on the air pump when the machine start to run, rather than have the air pump running all time, right? So, and then the filter, I know the air gauge is very important. And then beam combiner. Before, they don't even know what is a beam combiner.
Yeah.
They kind of add a red dot attached to the laser head.
The angle, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that. It drives me nuts. No, beam combiner all the way.
Yeah, but the beam combiner, they cost more. That's why they don't want to use it. However, I said, no, you got to be better to use it. So that's why they listen to me and use a beam combiner. So you can see nowadays, most laser machines, they're using beam combiner, except for some cheap machine. No. I don't know what the measure do, but
yes, some low end
some. And then then we add the digital solenoid control. And after we change it, then we figure out that by using silicone tube, the air pressure, you cannot hold on to pressure. That's how we switch all the silicone tubing to the more high pressure pneumatic type of tubing.
Right.
Yeah. And after there's so many things to do. Like, for example, I add a manual control for the power control. Rather than using the DSP controller card, there's a manual control on the power. The reason for doing those is you kind of like bypass the controller. Okay, this is the best thing to do is when you do the engraving, you want to have a constant current output. So why need the controller card to process the data when you can do manually as control fix the power, fix the current, then it will come up better job.
Because the current, when you control that from the power supply, it's always going to be exactly the same, right? Whereas if you do it through the controller, you are telling the controller is going to be telling what does the controller? Does the controller talk to the tube, or does the controller talk to the power supply? Like if I set my controller to 50% power, is it telling the power supply to do 50%, or is it telling the tube to do 50%?
The controller we call PWM. PWM is like a pulse pulse width modulation. All right. Yeah. The controller can send the signal to the laser power supply, and then let the power supply to control the output current. The reason we are using the PWM is more precise controlling. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. If we can bypass it, we don't even need to use the controller card to do the job. We can just add the wearable port.
That potentiometer.
Yeah. I have a hard time to pronounce that word.
It's a big one. Yeah, that's a hard one. I can barely say it myself.
Yeah. So I figured that would be better to do, especially for acrylic, because acrylic, when you do engraving on acrylic, it need more. I would say it's more difficult than doing on wood.
So we would want to use a potentiometer instead. And so you would set the controller to 100 and then just change your power on the potentiometer for...
Right.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's smart. That's interesting. So is that something that you do on your machines now?
Yeah.
That's something you do on your machines right now. And so is that the design for the case? I know, like the Legend, right? The Legend has like that big slicey front. That's you. You came up with that.
Yeah. Because when I look at the airplane F-22, I said, I love it. The fight jacket. I love it, why not make my laser machine to have a better looking? I mean, of course, it doesn't design like F-22, but I just figure out that, hey, why not make it more
sharp edges, right? Nice and sleek. It looks like aerodynamic. Yeah, and as you, from the small machines all the way up to the big ones, you kind of have that same form factor to them, so they all look like they're part of the same family, which is nice. Unless you get really small. One of the other ones that I really like a lot are the Rangers.
The Ranger.
That's a cool machine, man. It looks like a stormtrooper. It's like all black and white, and it's very sleek. It looks like very futuristic. That's a cool machine for sure. And I saw you guys are getting your hands at you're getting into other stuff too. I saw the UV printer while we were there. That's something that you've been playing with lately. Have you been having fun with that?
I try to. Unfortunately, one of those it's not functioning, and because the controller card. And I figured out that I am not the expert, so I decided not to go for that route,
Yeah, and probably not. The printers are gross. There's ink and there's everything needs so much maintenance, and you got to babysit it all the time.
Exactly, because after you use the UV printer, you got to clean up the same day. If you don't clean it up the next day or the day next, when you dry up, you are in big trouble.
Yeah.
And then the laser head intake, we have two different models, 2 head and 3 heads. And those heads, they have no warranty at all. And tell the truth. When I bought it from China, they told us in advance, we don't give warranty for the laser head.
And that's expensive, right?
That's expensive. Yeah. Most expensive.
Yeah. The laser, when you're just doing laser marking or laser engraving, you just turn it off. You're done.
Yeah.
You just walk away from it. Forget it, right? So it's so much more work to do print. That's why I don't do that. Everybody always asks me, when will you do 3D printing? When will you do UV printing?
Same
when will
thing
you do
here.
I don't want, that's too much work. I just want to turn it on, make things, turn it off, and I'm done,
Right. And then people ask me, why don't you do a 3D printing or something? I said, look, for the 3D printer, they are very similar to a CO2 laser. Technically speaking, hardware-wise, I can fabricate, I can design, no problem. But I'm not going to do the support for 3D. Why? Because I'm not a graphic GUI. If you want to print something simple like a box, it's easy, right? Just a square box, it's very easy. But think about if you want to print a remote control with internal parts, how do you do it? That means you got to have a very good artist. I mean, the mind. You got to be
in that dimension. Yeah, I can't do it either. I open like Fusion 360, or like CAD. I can't do anything in that. My brain doesn't work that way. I'm okay when it's flat. I can do flat, but when you add that third dimension to it, it's over my head.
Right. I am kind of worried about the support. If I couldn't do the support, I'd rather not to do it.
Right. And that's because you guys are really big on support. And that's kind of why. So I named this live stream LightObject, the Everyone Laser Company, because you guys have something for everyone, whether it's somebody who's just brand new and they have no idea what they're doing at all, or there's someone who's been doing this for a long time. They need a big, massive machine that's going to sit on a factory floor. You have all of the lasers, and you will support all of those lasers, right? I met, what was his name? I forgot. There's Joel, and then who was the other one on support?
Jay.
Jay, that's right.
Yeah,
we met Jay. Very nice. And you know, they just work full time to help people. And one of the things that Len said to me, and he mentioned this, I'm putting this in the final video when we do our tour, but Len said it's not where you have a book and they call and they say, here's my question. And then they say, oh, if they have this question, turn to this page and read them their response. They don't need to do that because they know these machines so well. They know exactly what the problem is and exactly how to fix it just from hearing the description on the phone. They don't need a book to tell them the answers. They know the answers because they know the equipment. And I just thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah. Because when I hire them, you know, the first couple of weeks, I have to provide intensive training for them. So we go from basic. Some of those, they have some technical background in electronic or something else. However, for laser, they don't have that much during that time, about 3 years ago. So that means when I hire them, I have to invest so much time to train them to be a good tech support. And I told them, you know, what does it mean support? Support means when people call in, I don't want, if you are not sure, you don't answer, you can ask me later. You cannot say, maybe, or could be, I guess. You know what? I told them I don't allow those reply from my tech. You got to tell the customer exactly. If you know it, you tell them. If you don't know it, don't tell them. Just tell them I will get back to you. I will consult, you know, Mark or something, you know, to get you to answer. Right. Because think about it. A lot of user, they are rookie or they may be just for home use, that they don't care. But what about for the business? It sometimes could be life and death because in mass production. So I know one company, they have 3 shifts in a day. You cannot give them wrong answer because it could be the nightmare to them. So I told them, if you are not sure, you got to tell them you are not sure. I will get back to them. Yeah, that's awesome. And we're hitting about 30 minutes here. So what I always do is I talk, and I never shut up. And then these two over here, Boyce and Kyle, never get to ask any questions. I can see the thrill in their eyes though, and I want to give them an opportunity to talk and ask some questions too. Did you guys, I just wanted to give you a chance here because I never think of it and I just thought of it now. If you guys had anything on your mind that you wanted to ask Marco or bring up while we were here. Actually. Yeah, okay, Kyle does. Okay, so what do you got, Kyle?
So after experiencing what I experienced with that machine back there, I very affectionately call it my blue poo machine. You know, I want to look around and see what else is out there. So I was looking at the LightObject website, and I've had an idea in the back of my head that I wanted to get a small format CO2 laser with enough Z-axis to get a tumbler or like a rotary under it.
Yeah.
Do you have plans of expanding your lineup at any point?
When you say expand, because all my laser machine, they support rotary.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a plug. They have a plug. You can just plug it in and go to controller, enable rotary. It's ready.
Even the smaller ones?
The smaller, yes.
I think the only one that I wasn't sure had the ability was the Solo. Is that deep enough? Or does that
Solo, there are 2 different models. Solo, one with rotary support, one without.
Okay.
Because the one without is actually they all support rotary. I'm sorry. One with the power Z table. The other one, it doesn't have a power Z table.
Okay. Is it manual Z or no Z at all? It doesn't move. It stays.
It stays because the laser head, you only can change the depth of the laser head up and down a little bit. Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty cool then.
The Solo, the Ranger, the Legend, all the way up to like Titan, all Z.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Titan. They don't. Titan is a hybrid system.
That's right. That's the hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cut metal and non-metal.
Yeah, metal and
cutting,
non-metal.
Right? Sorry,
right.
I got confused. What was the one that was bigger? The Legend, but it was bigger.
Barracuda.
The Barracuda. Oh yeah, that's cool, man. That's what you want, Kyle. You want a Barracuda. That's like.
I actually had my eyes on the Ranger.
The Ranger.
It's cool, man. It's cool. It's tight.
I love the design.
Yeah.
I love the design.
Man, the Ranger is really, really cool.
I spent a lot of time to talk to the manufacturer on the Ranger because this is the third model already. There's always
right. That's right. It's the Ranger 3. So it's gone through some revision. Boys, can we pull the Ranger up real quick from
I'm actually
LightObject?
Yep. I'm gonna bring up their website right now.
Perfect. That'd be great. Boyce is gonna put it on the screen so we can see it too.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Yeah, I was looking at the Ranger 3 for a while, and I was debating the Solo, but I just wasn't sure if it had enough space for me. But they look really nice. They're super clean machines. So.
Right.
Okay, there we are, guys.
And the price is good too. At $4,400. I mean, that's like you could get an OhmTech for that, but instead you're getting like
better quality.
You're getting like that premium quality machine. And this typically, does this come with the X7 or what kind of controller setup are we?
If you look at the picture, there was an old picture. This one is called, I forgot, but I already dropped it. This controller card also support Lightburn. However, I have agreement with Chosen. I said I'm going to help them to promote their card. So we put the 7813 controller card on the Ranger 3.
Okay, so they come with Chosen's right now, but Chosen's have Lightburn support as well.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, yes. And so I see you have the rotary and the rotary switch. So you just plug it in, you hit the button, and you're doing rotary, right? It's that easy. Yes. Yeah, that's so cool, man. I love the Ranger. I think it's so cool.
That's really cool.
So Kyle bought that blue and white machine you can see behind him.
I know that machine.
What was this? Let me know if this is right, Kyle. So it was all wired up for 110, but it had a 220 plug and a 220 transformer. Is that right? It was
wired for 220. All the power supplies were 220, but they marketed it as a 110 machine.
And then the transformer to transform it up.
Yeah.
So it all basically he plugged it into 110, and then everything just exploded. It all broke.
No, it was under power. Supposed to be.
It worked for a little while, yeah, and then it just kind of all fell apart, one thing after another.
Yeah. So the power supplies slowly died on me one at a time. One at a time. I had them running through the transformer. In all fairness. Yeah. But so I was like, I'm not switching these out for 220 power supplies. I'm just putting 110 power supplies in here and getting rid of this transformer.
Yeah. And it's just been like one thing after another. He needs a quality machine. He needs something good.
I read your page because as a rookie, when I import those machines, and I told them we have a 110 here, and guess what? They give me the 220 machine and give me one little transformer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And during that time, there's no 110 laser power supply until I talked to the one company. I need to have a true 110. That's why they start to do 110. Mm-hmm. And I know the laser power supply from the China, the two major manufacturers in China.
Mm-hmm.
You can say it's either MY or HY on your power supply. They are the dominant in China. I've been there a couple of times already. During that time, they didn't make any 110 true 110 power supply. Instead, the manufacturer of laser machine, they will give you a power supply. It's underrated transformer. All right. Mm-hmm. But Kyle, for you, it's very easy to change it. There's a couple of things you can. Nowadays,
they're already changed over. It's just one component after the other keeps dying on me. So I told him the pain of getting a budget machine.
He needs to get rid of the blue poop. It's time for something nice like a Ranger.
Yeah, the Ranger is pretty good, and we can put an 80 watt, close to 80 watt tube to it. I special ordered the 80 watt JK 80 watt for the Ranger. Before, nobody can do it though.
And so what do you what power supplies do you use now? Do you guys go with like Meanwells or like what do you no. Okay, tell me the secret.
We have our own power supply.
You have your own LightObject power supply.
Oh
That's so cool. That's awesome.
My engineer in China. I'm not lying to you. I hired that guy. He designed the power supply.
Yeah.
And then we have our own water chiller. And now we are going to have a frame extractor very soon.
Yes. So I saw the beginnings while I visited. I saw Len showed me the big filters that he was for. That's for big industrial.
That was mistake too. I'm telling you.
No, that's old. No,
there's
that
so
was
much money then. I decided to make my own.
Yeah.
And you will see, I already put some video on the Facebook. This one is totally different.
Okay.
If you don't use the active charcoal, technically speaking, there's no consumable parts you need to replace.
Okay.
We're
So
using-
this is why I ask, because in order for you to know whether it's good or bad, you have to buy it and bring it in, you know, and I could just see everywhere in your facility, I could see your mindset as you were bringing things in and everywhere in the building is a new experiment, right? You have your desk with your workbenches, your power supplies, tube testing over here, UV printers, you've got big, fume extractors and filters and vents. And I could see the gears turning in your head about, always trying something new, always bringing in new things, always trying to figure out ways to make new things work and make improvements. And that's one of the things that I loved so much about being there. Was that I could just see that effort,
Yeah, because that's often people say they will come to try to negotiate the price with me. They said, "Hey, Marco, the 100-watt laser machine on eBay they sell for $3,000, and now you're selling $7,000 or $8,000. Can you match the price?" I said, "No. If this is apple to apple, I will beat the price for you. But this is not apple to apple. You got to understand the guts behind those. It's not the same product.
Yeah.
How do you know? So that's why for me, I got to experience different products, so I can tell my customer what's the difference. Why my product are better than their product, or how come my price higher than those? It's not because I try to get more profit. It's because the costs are different.
Yeah.
That's why. For the frame extractor, I have tried, I think, 5-6 different types, and I spent more than, I would say, $20,000 already for testing. Yeah. And that's why I come up with an idea. So I talked to one of the guys. Look, you know what? I figured out that the bigger issue for this frame extractor is because no matter how big of those, if people who do a large cutting and they use one of those, the filter will be clogged up in about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But we cannot, my client cannot afford changing filter every 2 weeks.
They're so expensive.
Not just that, because you have to order those filters. Those filters are lightweight, but take a lot of volume. Even the ocean shipment costs you a lot of money, especially nowadays, from $3,000-$4,000 to $15,000 or a container. We can't afford it. How do you charge your customer, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I have a special requirement to my manufacturer, one of the company. Then he come up with different design. Right now, we are using water and then static to take in over 90% smoke and smell.
Like ionized.
Yeah. Oh, no ionized. No ionized.
Not ionized.
No ionized. It's a high voltage.
Literally static electricity. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's why when I look at the video, I said, "Wow, this is unbelievable." Until we have one, then it works.
Then you can you just pull it out, you clean it, put it back in. Yeah.
It's water based. You can just pull out and use water to fresh out and put it back. Except for the active charcoal.
Well, right.
But not people. Not too many people. They need to get rid of the smell. Then they don't have to use active charcoal. In that case, there's no parts need to be replaced at all. Or we can use different kind of filter, saving more money because active charcoal considered more expensive than the regular filter.
Right. And the active charcoal is mostly for smells. It's for odor.
Right.
Yeah.
And take care of poison too. Some kids.
So you've got so you guys are working on a fume extractor. How long until you think we might see something like that come
December
out?
15th.
December. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You have a date. December 15th. It's coming out. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Great.
Okay.
And
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, me too, for sure. And then we've got the brand new water chiller. So Joel sent me a water chiller. I have one. Yeah, he sent one over to me, and I unboxed it today. We did a whole video. I set all the cameras and lights up, and we cut the box open and took it out and it lit it up. It's so cool. It's very cool, like the Ranger. You know, it's just got like a cool look to it. It's basically a cube. So instead of the SNA where it's like this long and
I have to take some credit too, because I designed the casing too.
I can tell, man. It's got your signature look, where with the sharp edges.
You can tell, right?
Yeah, I can tell.
Similar.
I can definitely tell. It's got Marco written all over it. So it's just got those sharp, clean colors. The panels on the sides, you can take the panels off, see the compressor, you can see the radiator, you can see the tank, you can see all the hoses, and you can fit your hands inside and fix it if it needs to be fixed. Yeah. You know, when we look at other chillers, everything is so compact. You can't get in and fix. It's like too locked up, and with the LightObject one, you just take that side panel off and you can stick your whole hands in there and like move things around and fix things if something goes wrong. I loved that. It was so cool. And then the water meters in the front. Thank you for putting the water in the front, the water level. I can't tell you guys how many times do you guys not like lean? The Mira is a different case, Boyce, because you've got the Mira, so that one it's just on the back because that's where it is. But Kyle, the SNA lean when you gotta do that.
For me, there was no lean. I had to rip the thing away from the wall, lifting like 80 pounds of metal and refrigerant and water away from the wall to see what the level is.
Yeah, and this one has a light built into it. It lights up. You can see exactly where the level is. It's on the front, and the controller too. Oh my gosh, the normal like 5200 controller. It's like you have to push like 7 buttons and then to set. And this one you just done.
That controller card. Remember before I do the laser. I saw a lot of electronic gadget, and that is a controller card I was doing for over a decade. And then when we use that, we call JLD612. I name it, and they make it for me. And we use it for our new chiller. And then we figure out that sometimes the customer want to change the temperature. It's not easy. They have to get down to the menu. It's
very hard.
And to a little bit confused. So we have to make a special order to the company, who we program. You know what? They are a big company. Usually they don't do it for people, but except because we import like a 300 to 500 controller every month. Right. That's why the exclusive, we program the controller card for us and to fit our new series of water chiller. But speaking of controller, we have a new controller coming out very soon. The Q600 already implemented with new controller card. So why do we want to change the controller card? Because I want to add more feature. For example, I want to add flow indicator.
Right.
Because there's so many people, they kind of get wrong what we call idea about how laser tube get burned. It's not just about temperature. It could be the water flow too. You have a very low temperature water chiller, water flowing around the tube. However, if the water flow rate is low, the tube actually is cooking.
Right.
So very soon, the tube will die. And I figured out that, hey, why not just add a gadget to show the water beside the temperature? We want to show the water flow rate.
Right.
But with the current controller card, no, you can't do it. So why not just design our own controller? That's why there's a new controller coming out soon.
Okay.
Which replace all controller card with our own design. So
if someone was going to get a LightObject chiller, should they wait for the new controller?
That's why I talked to my engineer. I say, look, if some people already bought the old water chiller without the flow sensor, what do? How about we make a small gadget, flow meter, with alert, with alarm. So if when the flow rate slower than, like for example, slower than 5 liters per minute, then it should buzz the customer.
Okay, so this would be like an add-on you would put in line, right? So
Yes,
it's like
yes,
your
yeah.
tube, your outlet, and then you would put your flow meter, and then back to the Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if
And
you
then
already have yours, you're not out of luck.
You're not out of luck. So is this something we can buy this on LightObject too?
yeah, that's the way. Another product I try to launch it maybe January or February next year, because the design is the same. Remember, we already launched the afterburner, right? The afterburner built in the same controller card. Same, it come with the program for flow indicator and with the temperature control. So we just take a part of those and implement in a small gadget. Try to not to make money, but give a add-on value to the water chiller, so they can just add it without spending too much time or money to.
And one of the other things too, before we run out of time today, that I really want to talk to you about is the heater that you guys have. You guys have a heater. It's such a simple solution to a very simple problem. The people put RV coolant in their machines. They put like bleach. They put all kinds of weird stuff that they're putting in their machines because they work in garages, right? Or, like warehouse spaces with no heating, no temperature control. And in the winter, it starts to freeze, right?
Yes.
And then you get the water and it freezes in your tube, and then your tube is broken. Yes. So you made a heater that goes in line and it heats the water and keeps the water moving through the unit so that it does not freeze overnight. I don't know how you're the only person who's ever thought of this.
You won't believe it to me, all right? Usually I get more, I'm kind of like a natural, because for example, I'm telling you one thing before the laser, this hour of the laser thing, how about the DVR, the car camera? I had that idea 5 years before everybody. I told my friend who worked for Intel, I said, you know what, I got an idea. How about do a DVR, the cam thing, so we can put on the car or the dash, you monitor the traffic. Then they said, why do you want to do it? I said, look, according to statistics, in America, there's a 2.5 cars per family. And look at the freeway. There's so many accidents every day. Yeah. And then, there's a bunch of lawyers waiting for a case, right?
Right.
But if we have a camera to monitor traffic, something goes wrong, somebody do the check brake. If you don't have a camera to record it, you are fine. You are done, because if they brake, you hit it. So I said, why don't you just do a camera, hit the button, record it. When you come home, everything, you have a nice safe day. Just keep delete. Because that time the memory is so expensive, we cannot afford 4 gig, 10 gig, maybe. I said, why don't we design something like that? They said, this is useless. But you know what? In a year and a half, my friend called me. Hey, Marco, look at that. Look, the CHP, they have a digital camera. And now the company who designed become Fortune 500. I said, oh.
Missed the boat on that one.
Yeah. So I saw, I kind more sensitive on the product that the market looking for. So. Yeah.
Well, that was a win, because you're still the only person that is doing this heater design to keep the tubes warm in the winter. Everybody's so focused on keeping it cold, right?
People call me crazy. Why you want to have a heater for? It's too lazy. Why do you want to put ice to it?
It's brilliant. It's so smart, and you can run that in line with a chiller too, right?
Yes.
So when at nighttime you just turn the heat on, and it runs the warm water through the machine. And then during the daytime, you turn the heat off and you turn the chiller on, and it keeps it cold while it's actually.
You don't need to turn off the heater, because the auto sense. It's automatic. It knows. Because we program, we have a controller card built in, so we configure anything lower than 12 degree, you can program it, okay? We put anything lower than 12 degree, the heater will kick in. Then when the temperature go close to up to 18 degree, or automatically shut down. So there's no confidence, but that makes sure that the chiller have to set the temperature higher than
higher
18
than that
degree.
threshold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is no big deal. That's
No big
easy
deal.
to do with your LightObject chiller because it's 2 buttons and it's set, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
done.
it is,
It's
yes.
very easy. Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, guys, we are we're kind of getting to the end of our time here. There's so much more I want to talk to you about, Marco. So we're gonna have to bring you back soon so that we can talk some more about all of the things that you have. We didn't even really get to talk about the machines that much, but I'm so glad that you had the chance to come on today. We covered a lot, guys. Listen, I went to LightObject. It's so incredible. I'm almost done editing the tour, actually. So we're almost finished with that video. So it'll be coming out really, really soon. We've got the chiller unboxing coming out really soon. So you guys will get to check out the chiller. Go look at LightObject's website. Just go look at it. There's a link down in the description. Marco turned the affiliate thing on just for me so that I could get an account signed up. So go click that, support the channel. Look at the stuff that they carry. They have everything. One of the coolest parts about visiting LightObject, the storage room, all the shelves. You guys have just shelves and shelves and shelves and shelves, belts, parts, connectors, wires, hoses. Like, it was like, I couldn't even believe it. It was like I was dreaming, just laser land. It was so cool. Go check out LightObject, guys. It's a small company. There's only like 6 employees. Okay. These guys are doing the work of much, much larger companies on like a shoestring budget. I don't know how you guys are pulling it off. I really don't, but you're doing incredible stuff. And I know that you guys are really big. You're very big in your Sacramento area. You're very popular locally. But Len was telling me, not so much nationwide, right? And I want everybody to know that LightObject exists because you guys are so cool. What was that, boys?
I'll say not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, that's our job, right?
That's
so
right.
we're here. Yeah, we're here
That's
now.
right.
We're gonna tell, man, I'm team LightObject. You guys have the coolest stuff. I love your machines. We're gonna get one into the shop soon so we can take a really close look at it. We're gonna sell Kyle on that Ranger, right? and so that's it. I wish that I could say more, but if you guys go and look at LightObject's just catalog, just the products that they sell, so much of this stuff has been like thought out just immensely by Marco, who knows the products, he knows the customers, and he's got stuff on there that you literally can't get anywhere else. Like these just amazing tech that he's bringing in, simple fixes to problems that have plagued our industry for so long. And I don't want anybody to miss out on it. So go check out LightObject, go check out their awesome machines. Marco, do you have a little bit more time today? We can continue, maybe do a bonus episode for the channel supporters.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So if you guys want, definitely go sign up for the LMA if you're not already on there, and we'll be chatting with Marco a little bit more before we let him go tonight. And then we'll have that up on the LMA for you guys in a day or two. But that's it. That's all I've got. Marco, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to come hang out with us today. It was so great talking to you. And boys, Kyle, thanks for being here. Appreciate your company as always. And all of you guys out there watching this podcast episode live, don't forget to smash the like button. Let everybody else know the content was good. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified the next time we post a new episode of the Laser Source podcast. Again, we're chatting with Marco a little bit more after this episode. Just go head over to masters.lasereverything.net. It's going to be going up on the LMA. Find out how you can support the channel. We really appreciate it. We're a viewer supported channel, and just a big shout out, a big thank you to everybody who supports the channel over there. That's all I've got, guys. Thanks again for listening to this episode, and we will see you in the next one.